Well, good evening. This is an honor that I'll never forget. I want to thank Dr. Westmoreland and Samford University, Martin Newton, Hal Langston, and all the staff, and what a great job you've done in presenting the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for that. I want to also congratulate all the other inductees and how honored I am to be a part of this 2019 team. Thankful for my family. I have 3 kids. Alicia is our only daughter, her husband Bob, Jeremy and Katie, and Jonathan and Sarah. They have given us 13 grandchildren. And we're hoping that Jonathan and Sarah, they just have a 7-month-old now. We're praying that they have about 6 or 7. Suzanne, my wife of 48 years in December, faithful, loyal friend, counselor, teacher, what else? Cheerleader. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful to all the people who have impacted my life, all the coaches, teachers, administrators, professors. I'd have never got out of high school had it not been some teachers who came along beside and said, hey, you got to do your work. You got to get it done. Mary Washington here at Samford University. She came to me one day, and I was in her history class. She came and she said, Fleming, you know if you don't pass that French, you're not going to graduate. She had her student assistant, which was double major in French and also in history, tutor me to get me through French. They even did a Parlez-vous français on tape at night to help me through the French class. I grew up in a little town about 9 miles outside of Abbeville, and most of you would not know where it was. Chip Armstrong's here tonight. He's been down there. Tim Barnes. Thank you guys for coming. Be with us tonight. And I got in my senior year of high school in the spring, and Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, all 3 had asked me to come to their campus and to visit, and I thought surely one of them would give me a scholarship. But it was not until my senior year, a man walking through the hallway of Abbeville High School with my principal, Jack Carr, and said, where's that boy going to college? And where's he going to play football? And he said, nowhere. No one signed him. And that day, Harold Wilkes, who was an offensive line coach at University of Chattanooga, handed me a full grant and aid scholarship. And I left that after graduating from high school, went to Chattanooga, spent a good solid semester there, had a lot of friends, learned a lot about the way things were back then. And I thought, boy, this is really a great honor that I would have a scholarship, until I got to the university and I found out that Scrappy Moore had not just given me a scholarship, but he had given over 200 other guys a scholarship. And back then, I don't guess it was illegal because he didn't ever get penalized for it. But anyway, during the Christmas break, a pastor friend of ours brought me to Howard College. And I think that I'd had somewhat of a partial scholarship offered, but didn't beat a full scholarship at Chattanooga. And so James Sharman, Bubba Scott, they said, yeah, we can give this guy a scholarship. And so I went back to Chattanooga, finished my semester there, packed my car, loaded my things, coming home, and was going to sit out a year semester and then come to Howard College that fall. And I didn't get out of the city limits of Chattanooga until the voice inside said, you can't leave this place without thanking those people. And so after about 4 hours in the bathroom and waiting till I could get an opportunity to talk with the coaches, I went in, and Coach Wiltz carried me into Coach Moore's office and said, Fleming, Red, he didn't call me Fleming because they didn't know my name, they just knew the color of my hair. Said, Red here is thinking about going to Howard College. And Coach Moore was about like a pencil. I thought he was 80 years old then. He's probably about 50. He's a legend at Chattanooga. Coach Wills said, Red here is thinking about going to Howard College. And Coach Moore said, Red, what do you mean? He said, why do you want to go to Howard College? He said, we beat them every year. We play Auburn and Tennessee and Vanderbilt, and we're expecting you to be our tight end. I said, well, Coach, they got a good program for preachers. I want to be a preacher, and I want to play football. And so I think the Lord has told me that I need to go to Howard College. I won't tell you what he said, but I'll just tell you the gist of it. He said, oh, Red, the Lord ain't told me nothing about you going to Howard College. And in 1969, when I was drafted by the Colts, Coach Moore had resigned, both football and athletic director, and Coach Wiltz had become the head coach, but they had a roast and toast for Scrappy Moore in Chattanooga, and Harold Wiltz got up and told that story, and on the headlines of the Chattanooga Times it said, Scrappy loses one for heaven's sake. I'm grateful to so many people. I wish I could just tell you the ones by name and all the investments that people have made in my life, but I'm so thankful for this opportunity, teammates, pastors, friends, and I think that through the experience here at Samford, God began to develop in me a sense of destiny and purpose. And I think that probably one of the first encounters I had with anybody on the team at Howard College at that time was a fifth-year senior, and he and I were talking in the downstairs of the old gymnasium. I don't even know if it's still being used as a gym anymore, but we lived downstairs in the bottom of the gym. We even had a song that, like the bottom of the submarine, the Beatles did. Well, we sang that song. But we were there talking one night, and this guy was asking him about what he majored in and what course of study he was doing. He said, well, I'm going to be in the pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist. And I said, well, do you have any ministerial students that ever come out and play football? And he said, oh, heck no. He didn't say that. He said it a little more plainly. And he said, they're just not tough enough. They can't stand it. So a few minutes later, he looked at me and he said, what are you majoring in? I said, I'm going to be a ministerial student. He said, the heck you say? We became good friends. And I know that through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, that God has used this university and so many people, and I'm so thankful for Waylon Elliott. He called me last year and said, get all your stuff together, send it to me. We're going to do a nomination to you to be in the Samford Sports Hall of Fame. And said, we're going to make you look better than you really are. And he did. But I think during the years I spent here of having personal relationships with so many people, and I think that is probably one of the most valuable things that Samford has taught me, and so many people who are willing to give their lives and then invest their lives in me as a person, as an individual. I think of Dr. Leslie Wright and his wife, Lola. She came to practice soon after we got started that fall of 1965, and Dudley Hall was a classmate. He was a year behind me at Abbeville, and he and I were both about the same size, and she came out on the practice field. He said, "Those beds aren't big enough for you boys." And I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, "We're going to enlarge your beds in your dorm, Crawford Johnson Hall. Because your feet hang off of those beds right now, and I guarantee you we're going to have new beds for you tomorrow." And that afternoon, she had carpenters over there. We went in the next day with almost a king-size bunk bed. Our feet didn't hang off. But all of that, I think more than anything else, all of that began to sink into my life, the sense of destiny, purpose, and because of so many people doing special things to remind me that God does have a purpose for us. And as a result of that, Suzanne and I have a ministry in Eufaula that we teach young kids that. We take them in the first grade and walk with them all the way through their educational experience. And that's one of the things we say. You're special, you're important, you're kind, you're made for greatness, and God has a purpose for you. And you can take your finger and feel your pulse tonight. As long as that pulse is going, you can say one thing: I have a purpose. And I think that's been one of the overriding things in my life, that God has shown me that no matter how much time we have on this earth, we're here to invest in the lives of other people. We're here to give away what God has given to us. Coach Brady said it very well in his statements. But thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight, be a part of Samford University and Howard College, and to be a part of the Samford Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you.